Ted Lynn's back, Bible teacher here at the chapel up until just a few months ago, but happy to join you tonight in this format. It's really nice. This COVID pandemic has us really confounded, doesn't it? We've never seen anything hit so hard and so fast and remove so much in the realm of the routine and in the realm of our fun. Who would have ever thought a place as vibrant as the chapel would be locked tight for more than 3 months? All activities canceled. It's unthinkable. Does the Bible have a parallel? I believe it does. Job. Job teaches us what happens when you lose everything in an afternoon. For many of us, COVID feels that way, at least from the aspect of our lives of routine. But I want to tell you tonight why the book of Job exists, in my opinion. I believe Job brings reality to the 5 big stories of news from Genesis 1 to 3. I talked about those last night, but as a review, here are the 5 big pieces of news in Genesis 1 to 3. God, creation, people, Satan, and sin. All introduced in Genesis 1 to 3. Each of us must reconcile those 5 realities in order to balance our existence, our lives, our relationships, etc. God said to himself, maybe, for the benefit of everybody, I need to make an example of somebody. Job, a swell guy. Let's see how he holds up to a sudden crisis. Job brings real life to each of these 5. Why? So that you can put yourself into his shoes. Job 1:1. There once was a man named Job. He feared God. And then Job's COVID hits. Chapter 1. 4 messengers deliver news that Job has lost everything that he had of any material value, and he lost his children. Feel relevant? Who could deliver such a blow? Satan himself in a deal made with God Himself in Job chapter 1. Read it. And then in chapter 2, Satan takes Job's health, leaving him only with his life on the edge for the next 35 chapters. God, a person, Job, Satan, using God's creation in a world marred by sin. All introduced in the first 3 chapters of Genesis and applied to one person, Job. Job 1 tells us that Job was concerned about the sin of his children. It tells us that Job did not sin by blaming God. That's Genesis big story number 5. And then there's the end of Job. God chastises Job for complaining too much, and He uses all of His creation against Job. That's Genesis big story number 2. It is God's best defense in the Bible of His creation. You would do well to read Job 38 to 41 if you doubt creation. God, creation, people, Job, Satan and sin, each vividly presented in the book of Job. Sure, we don't know when this happened. We don't know where it happened, but I do believe we know why it happened. Job was a righteous man, a swell guy who needed to repent, and he did. God uses everything at His disposal to prove it to Job. Bud Walls sent this to some of us, and speaking now of our COVID times, in 3 short months, God has taken away everything we worship. God said, "You want to worship athletes? I'll shut down the stadiums and the arenas. You want to worship musicians? I'll shut down every venue. You want to worship actors? I will shut down the theaters. You want to worship money? I will shut down the economy and collapse the stock market. You want to worship your own bodies? I'll close down all the gyms. You want to worship your own intellect and pat yourself on the back with a graduation? I'll close down your schools. You want to place your trust in your friends and not in me? I'll make sure you can't even meet with them physically. You don't want to seek my face and worship me? I will make it where you can't go to church." That is profound, and a lot of that is very true. Don't be a complainer like Job. Use this time to get right with God, and maybe, just maybe, it will end up for us as good as it did with Job. Read the last chapter of the story. He died, but only after a long and full and abundant life.